I used to have a normal life. Standard drinks after work with my buddies, the springs on the weekends, even a girlfriend every now and then. Everything a 28-year-old could ever want. That was all until I opened that cursed video file. The one with the song that changed my life forever. It was this song called Gillette by Dr. Disrespect. What led me to this song in the first place was I was searching for something to listen to while I was working. I'm a web developer, and so my job, by nature, brings me to the internet, more than the average person would ever be interested in going. As you learn about the internet and the vastness of it, you start to become curious of what lies in the recesses of the wild and restricted playground. For this reason, I made sure that I took time out of my day, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, to just explore what's out there. One day, on one of my adventures into this digital realm, I came across a video on a dark web video hosting site. The thumbnail was of a man with a weird handlebar mustache, long black hair and sunglasses. Looked like something out of an 80s music video. Only slightly interested at first, I clicked on the thumbnail, and much to my surprise, this strange sound penetrated my eardrums. It gave me this feeling like when you discover something for the first time, and can't quite understand it because it's so unique, then when the emotion hits you, you just know in that instant that this is going to be something that's going to stick with you for a very long time. The song is very simple, almost strangely so. It literally just repeats the same lyrics over and over again in different ways. For whatever reason, those lyrics felt like they were trying to communicate something to me, something I desperately needed to know. The other odd thing about it was it had a strangely low amount of views. It had only been released a couple hours before, and seemed like I was one of the first people ever to come across it. After work that day, I walked home with my headphones in. It was strange, I just couldn't quite shake the catchy lyrics and incredible rhythmic background of the song. Luckily, I had found a file that was 10 hours long, and it was looped so I could just listen to it over and over again, without interruption. I had been hooked on songs before, but this was different. I didn't want to do anything outside of listen to it. I told my sister about it, then my best friend. I even uploaded it to my YouTube account. I had to spread the tune to everyone I could think of. They needed to understand how amazing it was. And before I knew it, it was time to go to bed. I had listened to this song all day long. The realization of that scared me a bit. How had I listened to this short song so many times that it took up an entire evening? That's when I realized what this song was really trying to tell me. The best a man can get. Was this really that? The best experience a human could have? Could the greatest experience known to man really be neatly captured in this video file floating around on the internet for free for everyone to experience anytime they wanted? The next morning I woke up very tired. Somehow I had eventually passed out, even though when I awoke the song was still in my head, blaring. I looked out the window and things looked a bit different outside on my street. It was a weekend, yet there were no sounds of lawn people, no garbage trucks driving by. There was nothing. The song had been playing in my head for so many hours that it actually had a tiring effect on my brain. In fact, I almost felt hungover from the whole ordeal. So I decided not to listen to it again. At all. I walked outside and got into my car. I had to run to CVS to grab some milk for my cereal. And I drove down the street, and that was when the real fear started to take hold. There wasn't a single car on the road, not one. It was like the zombie apocalypse had begun overnight. Just no zombies, there was nothing. When I walked up to the store, I definitely knew something had happened. It was closed, but clearly was supposed to be open. The hours were right there on the door. Where was everybody? Was I freaking out or something? I immediately drove back home, and I walked into my roommate's room, and to my horror, she was gone also. Then I called my buddy John. No answer. I called my sister. No answer again. I decided to get back into the car. I had to drive. I was just going to drive until I saw somebody. Before I knew it, I was driving down a road I didn't know. I just had to find someone, though. Then ahead, I started to see large buildings in the distance. I must have been approaching downtown. That was it. There'd have to be people there. As I approached the landscape of skyscrapers in the distance, I noticed something I had never seen before. At the public park in the middle of the city, there was a structure. A large wooden building in the shape of a pyramid with a giant speaker at the top. I had been downtown before, but this had definitely never been there when I came. In fact, it looked like it had been built overnight. However, around the structure were finally the first people I had seen all day. Their cars were parked in disarray all over the grass, and some even in the street. They were standing oddly, staring at the ground, heads down, swaying in a single file line. To my shock and horror, the cityscape behind them was in ruins. Buildings were ablaze. The streets were full of glass, blood, and broken things. Outside the car, I could hear something faintly. I rolled down my window, and there it was. That same repetitive chorus, over and over again. As I pulled up, my vision began to blur. Yet somehow, I was more aware of everything. The sky was bluer, and the trees were greener. Just not visually. Everything was more of a sound. It was a truly awe-inspiring moment. I opened the car door, and the giant speaker slowly turned toward me. Then all there was light. A brilliant, intense light, like nothing I'd ever seen before. Then I was gone. I was somewhere with the song. Somewhere with that feeling. The best a man could get.